Track. Giddy up with Gareth Hall.
Yes, good morning. This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall on this Tuesday, the 4th of November. Yes, it's the first Tuesday in November, which means it's our greatest race, the Melbourne Cup, and we are live from Flemington on this special day. It's a big hello to you wherever you may be listening on your local SEN track and RSN dials, the RSN app, and also the SEN app. Plus, of course, we are streaming live on the SEN app, our Facebook page and YouTube channel. What a day it promises to be. So far, I can report here at Flemington, I can see some blue skies. Obviously, they've had a lot of rain in the last 24 hours, but at the moment, the rain has stopped, which is terrific news as we get set for one of the most fascinating Melbourne Cups I can recall. Our riffer was heavily supported at the call of the card there yesterday in what I can describe as one of the best afternoons of punting that I've ever come across. And many say, who have been around a lot longer than I, it was the greatest call of the card, especially in the last, say, 25 years. And Easy Go, which is a obviously billion-dollar tech company in Melbourne, which hailed from Melbourne, that team had $500,000 at $8 on our riffer to win the Melbourne Cup. It was extraordinary stuff. And then, of course, Jamie Lovett from Australian Bloodstock, who own our riffer, they had $200,000 at $8 on now the new Melbourne Cup favourite with Bet365. So that was extraordinary. And now the day has arrived. And there's so many terrific storylines heading towards this year's Melbourne Cup, from Half Yours, who's come a long way in a short amount of time, the Caulfield Cup champ, Tarasino representing Country Victoria, and, of course, the township of Horsham for Paul Pruska, who will join me in the first hour here this morning on Giddy Up. It's a terrific story. England's represented, Ireland's represented, of course, including a horse by the name of Giddy Two Shoes, who's owned by one of the most powerful men in racing, especially in Ireland, in JP McManus. And his son, Kieran McManus, was punting up a storm yesterday at the call of the card. US is represented for the first time. The French are represented. So it is a remarkable Melbourne Cup, and the market suggests that as well. So we'll have that all covered in the next 2.5 hours. I'll be joined by Joseph O'Brien as well, who, of course, trains our riffer in Giddy Two Shoes. Liam O'Keefe with the all-important track update. Josh Holt from Channel 10, our weatherman. He'll provide a weather report for us as well, what we expect or he expects to happen throughout the day. We'll catch up with Kylie Rogers, the CEO of the VRC. And then after 9, Gerard Whateley will join me as we start to paint the picture for Melbourne Cup Day. Then Mark Hunter, just after 9:30, will go through each and every race for his Melbourne Cup preview. And then, of course, Mitch Lewis will join us towards the back end of the show. And then we'll go around the nation to cover off most of the big meetings outside of Flemington today, because Melbourne Cup Day is the busiest day in racing, with meetings happening all around the country. 0499 736 736 to join our conversation. That's 0499 736 736. And Giddy Up, always brought to you by Bet365. It's never ordinary when it's brought to you by Bet365. Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Let's kick off the show with the VRC's track curator. He's the best in the world. His name is Liam O'Keefe, and he joins us now. Happy Melbourne Cup Day, Liam.
Happy Melbourne Cup Day, Gareth.
I had several people that walked the track yesterday, and they couldn't believe it. They reckon it was a soft 5 at best. Obviously, you've had a lot of rain since. What have we woken up to this morning?
Yeah, we're on a soft 6 this morning. We had 28 mils yesterday up until lunchtime, so we're a 5 in the morning. Then after that rain, we just downgraded to a 7. It was quite wet underfoot, and then fortunately we had a lot of drying yesterday afternoon. So if we had the races yesterday, we certainly would have got back to a soft 6. And then this morning we've had an additional 6 mils, so it's just sort of sitting on top. But knowing that there's no rainfall till the 1st, we're happy to go with a soft 6, and hopefully we can dodge the rain during the day.
Is that the concern if the rain does come throughout the meeting?
Yeah, obviously if you get rain during the races, the ground does start to open up and the track will deteriorate, especially given the 10 races, the big fields, the track's already rain affected. So if we can dodge the rain, we certainly won't be on anything worse than a 6. But if we do get the rain, we'll have to have a look at the track with the stewards and downgrade accordingly.
So if the rain does come throughout the meeting, is there a chance we could be on a heavy track come cup time?
Yeah, it just depends on the rain. It's just so tricky
Yeah.
to tell. Like, this morning we weren't expecting that sort of much rain, and it just kept hanging around. We got quite wet going around this morning. It has cleared now. It hasn't rained for a bit over half an hour. So if we can get away with that until lunchtime and hit and miss showers, then hopefully we can hold the 6. But if we get some, 1 or 2 mils plus, we'd certainly be getting a downgrade.
If it stays like this, it'd be nearly perfect. Not perfect. Yeah, you can see a little bit of blue sky, but there's no wind at the moment, Liam. They were telling me that the wind would be quite cold, but at the moment, there's no wind to report.
No wind. Probably want some wind, if anything, Gareth, just to help dry the top of the track off, just from the rainfall a couple of hours ago. I'll be interested to hear what Josh says about the weather. I spoke to the Bureau here before, and they said that there's some showers pushing up from the southwest that are going to arrive about 11, and previously the indication was it wasn't going to arrive until 2, so that's changed things around a bit, but I'll tune into Josh and hear what he says.
All right then, Liam, any tips for us, mate, at Flemington this afternoon? What have you got for us?
Al Riffar, roving banker with the field in the Melbourne Cup.
Yes, he was heavily supported yesterday at the call of the card, which was great entertainment, and despite his weight of 59 kilos, they're tipping him with plenty of confidence and backing him with plenty of confidence. Well, mate, congratulations on such a wonderful day there on Saturday. The track looks immaculate, and let's hope the rain stays away and we get a pretty good day's racing.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Thanks, Gareth.
Channel 10 meteorologist Josh Holt's about to join us. He's been spot on with his weather predictions for us here on Giddy Up. He's a punter himself, and I'll be fascinated to see what he has to say regarding the weather report today on Cup Day. Josh, hello to you.
Good morning, Gareth. Happy Melbourne Cup Day.
Happy Melbourne Cup Day, mate. I guess you're a very popular man at this time of the year, especially when there's a lot of rain predicted. So what are you predicting today?
Yeah, look, we still have a little bit of wet weather moving across the state of Victoria. Some of that will sweep across the city of Melbourne, including Flemington. So we are expecting those showers to persist today. Look, I'm not expecting a huge amount of rain to follow the rain that we have seen over the past 24 hours, but it's still probably going to be significant enough to have some sort of impact on the track. So we're looking at around about 15 millimetres into the rain gauge today, anywhere between around about 10 and 15 millimetres. So certainly there is the chance of some precipitation actually during the meeting today.
Okay, so when will that happen, you reckon?
Look, we've still got some shower activity just to the north of Melbourne at the moment. It's sort of slipping southward. So, look, it can happen any time today. There's no sort of set time on it. But we are expecting, those showers to persist through today. It probably will be a little bit intermittent, so it'll come and go. But as I mentioned, we're not expecting an absolute torrential downpour, but certainly some sort of rainfall that will, continue to dampen that track today.
Beautiful. And what about the top temperature in Melbourne this afternoon?
Yeah, look, it's not going to be too warm today. We're looking at a top of 17 degrees, but the apparent temperature or feel-like temperature right now is around about 10 degrees. Yeah. So it feels a lot cooler than that. So if you're heading out to Flemington today, as I said to you last week on SEN, make sure you pack the jacket because you will need it.
All right then, mate. Many winners. How'd you go Derby Day?
Great start to the day. Started firing, and then gave it back. So looking to have a hit and run mission today. Again, I'm sticking firm with Presage Nocturne. I think it's a pretty good chance in the Cup, and I have a few dollars on Valiant King down the bottom with no weight as well.
All right, mate. We appreciate you coming on, Josh. Good luck today, and we are expecting a little bit of rain, but hopefully it's not too much, and we stay around that soft range ahead of the big race, the Melbourne Cup.
Hopefully, we do stay around that soft range. I don't think we'll see a really heavy track today, and good luck to all the punters out there. Have a fantastic Melbourne Cup.
Beautiful. Thanks for that, mate. There's Josh Holt. So he doesn't expect we'll get to a heavy track. We're at a soft 6 at the moment, so it'll be interesting to see what happens now at around 11 or 12 o'clock when there is rain predicted, but I guess time will tell. 0499 736 736 to join our conversation. Busy first hour coming up on Giddy Up this morning. Of course, we are live from Flemington. Kylie Rogers, the CEO of the VRC, will join us next. And then Joseph O'Brien, the champion Irish trainer, who's just in his early 30s. He's looking for his third Lexus Melbourne Cup this afternoon. Of course, he trains our Riffer, the well-back favourite. And then Paul Brisker will join us as well. Then we'll catch up just after 9 o'clock with Jared Waitley. And after 9:30, we'll start our Melbourne Cup preview with Mark Hunter. It's 8:14. We'll take a break. Kylie Rogers to join us next here on Giddy Up.
Country meets Caulfield for the CF4 Stakes. Group 1 racing and family fun. November 15. Tickets at Ticketek. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up. We're live from Flemington on Melbourne Cup Day. We're just outside where the rails section is, and there's people setting up already for their big day out. So they start to arrive. Well, they've started to arrive about half an hour ago, and they are getting all of their food and drinks out before all of their guests turn up. And they're hoping that the rain stays away. I reckon this lady will be too. Kylie Rogers, the CEO of VRC, joins us now. Kylie, hello to you. Happy Melbourne Cup Day.
Good morning, Gareth. How are you?
I am very well. It's a beautiful day at the moment here at Flemington when I've arrived. There's some blue sky. I think the sun's trying to poke out as well. So let's hope it stays that way.
I'm looking at blue sky. Yeah, I'm looking at blue sky. I'm staring out my window and there are cracks in the clouds and I'm staying very optimistic, my friend. We've seen the end of the rain and we're going to have a beauty of a day.
Before we get stuck into our chat about Melbourne Cup Day, what about Derby Day? How would you describe it?
Nothing short of magical. To have 86,112 racegoers at the track having the time of their lives. Blue sky, something for everyone. Everyone looked magnificent dressed up. The racing was at its best. Ice house after the last. Kids enjoying the family-friendly areas, birdcage electric. Flemington looked exquisite. I was just so proud of the team and thrilled everyone had a great day. It was a fantastic start to our 4-day carnival.
It was one of the most enjoyable days I've had at the track. I just think there was 80-odd thousand there, as you pointed out, but the changes that you've made to the format here at Flemington, it just felt that it was a comfortable racing experience, but you could still feel the crowd and the atmosphere there, and especially like when Pride of Jenny took off at the 800-metre mark. And the younger crowd as well blew me away, Kylie. Like,
they're
all
loving
dressed
it.
in black
They're loving
and white. Yeah.
Dressed up, knowledgeable about their racing, following the horses. That roar for Pride of Jenny was something special. And I just think the footprint changes we've made, having everyone down by the rails, is the right call. It felt good.
Yeah, I totally agree. And Liam O'Keefe and the track creators have done a wonderful job. And even this morning when I woke up and talking to people that are just walking the track now, it's despite all the rain, we've still only got a soft 6, which
a remarkable effort.
Yeah, it's remarkable. I guess the volume, I think it speaks volume to is the investment that you've put into your track, which is so important when you get a day like this. Yeah,
I was talking to a lot of trainers and owners yesterday at our launch, and they're just so confident about our track because it has been so well invested in. And frankly, I think we've got the best track team in the world. And to get it to a soft 6, it's a credit to them. So we're away, my friend. We're going to have a great day. 165th running of the Lexus Melbourne Cup.
Yes. Time's flown, hasn't it? 165th running of the Lexus Melbourne Cup. And how many people are you expecting today?
It's hard to tell with this weather, but anywhere between 80 and 90,000. We had 86, as I said, on Saturday.
Yeah.
But 61% of our Melbourne Cup patrons are from overseas or interstate. And so if they've made this effort, they're coming regardless. And we've got, such a big running of internationals in the race today. I think we'll still get that patronage. So anywhere between 80 and 90, we'll see how it pans out.
That's amazing, really, that figure. I didn't know that. It's what, 61% of visitors.
Until I arrived. Exactly. Yeah. It was a big pickup for me last year when I was pouring through the data. That on very different the other days, of course, but it is a global race and they come from far and away, and 61% are coming from overseas or interstate. So they're here. They've filled hotel rooms. They've flown in. They're coming today.
And the Melbourne Cup, I love this year's Melbourne Cup. It's got it all, really. You've got some star weight for age horses, Al Riffa representing Ireland and Joseph O'Brien. You've got the US represented for the first time, a Japanese presence, a French presence. You've got Willie Mullins back in town. a German presence. We've flattened the curve, and the market suggests it's going to be one hell of a competitive Melbourne Cup this year.
I think it's impossible to choose a winner, isn't it? And with the rain, it sort of opened it up again. So I've had the luxury of spending a bit of time with some of the international owners and really learning a bit about them. And it's exciting to have so many in our race, coupled with obviously our local guys. But what a beautiful story it would be to have Jamie Mallum get the double on the anniversary of Michelle Payne for Half Yours. So who knows? I think if you push me, I'm going to say Valiant King, but I don't know.
Yeah. I love the story coming out of Horsham as well, being a country Victorian boy, Kylie. The cup meant so much, or it means so much to everybody involved in Australia. It doesn't matter what part of the country you're from, but especially the country areas. And I know that the whole township of Horsham and the surrounding towns around that Wimmera town will be all cheering home Tarazino for Paul Pruska. And the best part about it is that this horse won a Geelong Cup to get his golden ticket, but he also competed in a Warrnambool Cup, and he quinelled that with another runner in this year's Melbourne Cup. And
what a beautiful story that is.
Yeah, that's great for the Cup, I reckon.
I think it is. I mean, we do the Lexus Melbourne Cup sweep, which is part of our tour. And we have 24 regional towns who are part of the race. And at our launch earlier this year, a representative from one of the New South Wales towns came up to me and he started crying. And I said, is everything okay? And he said, there's not a lot of hope in our town anymore. Suffering from a drought. Yeah. And he said, you bringing this cup means everything to us. And it means hope, and thank you. And it's just a beautiful reminder of the power of our cup and what it means to people locally and overseas, and just a privilege to be part of it.
Bring it on. And Champions Day, we've got Oaks, of course, on the Thursday. We can't forget that. But, geez, this Champions Day is shaping up to be one hell of a day. Forget about Fisher. Pride of Jenny's coming back. We've got one hell of a Champions mob. Brightside taking on Pride of Jenny, taking on Charlewolf, the King Charles winner. Steffi Magnetic is in town. We've got the
You could argue it's the best 90 minutes of racing in the world right now.
Yeah.
We are thoroughly excited about our last day. And sure, Fisher's just the cherry on the top, right? But it's going to be a massive racing day. And I don't know what the weather's doing. I haven't looked that far. But I suspect we're welcoming 80 to 90 again. I really am.
Yeah, I reckon we'll get close to 90 easy. And then everyone will be dancing and celebrating after the last. And talking to Mark Zara yesterday, he can't wait. All the jockeys are looking forward to dancing there in front of Fisher. So it'll be a celebration of the week. And as we get towards the end of the carnival, I know we've got Caulfield after Flemington, but it's been one hell of a week so far. And that Derby Day was such a memorable day and a terrific way to kick off proceedings, Kylie. So we wish you the best of luck today.
Thank you so much, Gareth.
Hopefully the weather stays nice to us, but it is one of the most fascinating Melbourne Cups I can recall for quite some time. So enjoy yourself the best possible way that you can, being the boss of such a big organisation.
You too.
Yep.
Yeah, and I hope everyone else does. Awesome. Thanks for your support.
Thanks,
Kylie. See you out there today.
There's Kylie Rogers, the CEO of the VRC. 27 minutes past 8, we'll talk to the superstar trainer, Joseph O'Brien. The trainer of the favourite for the Melbourne Cup with Bet365, of course, Dal Riffer, straight after the news.
Good morning. Making SEN News headlines. Caulfield Cup winner Half Yours, one of the hot favourites in today's Melbourne Cup, and is the only Australian horse running. It'll be compulsory for power companies to offer Australians 3 hours of free power in the middle of the day, under regulations to be enforced from next July. There are reports illegal vapes in strong circulation in Australia could contain potentially dangerous levels of chemicals, including the embalming fluid formaldehyde. And economists are tipping the Reserve Bank will keep keep the interest rate on hold today. Up next, sen.com.au sport. Trainer Chris Waller has 5 horses in today's race that stops the nation and is gunning for his second Melbourne Cup win. Telling Nine he's done most of his job and now it's over to the jockeys.
And they do their part of tactically working out where they need to be in the right part of the track. When you get a wet track, it can be drier parts, wetter parts. But in general, this track dries very well.
Country meets Caulfield for the CF Stakes. Group 1 racing and family fun. November 15. Tickets at Ticketek. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up. Giddy Up brought to you by Bet365 because it's never ordinary when it's brought to you by Bet365. Imagine what you could be buying instead for free and confidential support. Visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. If you're having your quaddies, trifectas, and you're having any exotic on the Melbourne Cup, the best way to punt is with Bet365 because of the Top Tote Plus. So with the dividends there coming through from Super Tap, New South Wales and UTAB, if you're with Bet365, you'll get the best dividend from those 3 totes. And also, of course, the 6-horse challenge is on today, so you just have to be an account holder and you can play for free, and there's an opportunity that you could win $100,000. It's always great to have this man in this country for our great race. He's looking for his 3rd Melbourne Cup, would you believe, and he's only in his early 30s. He's already trained 2 Melbourne Cups and a Cox Plate, and he's got 2 wonderful chances engaged today, including this heavily supported favourite in our Riffer. I speak of Joseph O'Brien, and he's with us now to join us here on Giddy Up. Good morning to you, Joseph. Happy Cup Day.
Morning, Gareth.
How you feeling, mate? It's been
Yeah,
a busy
feeling
48
great.
hours.
I'm looking forward to today's racing. Yes, it's going to be a fantastic day. It looks like the weather has cleared off a little bit, so looking forward to the races.
So what do you do with your horses this morning? Do they have a canter around wherever you trot around? How's their preparation? What's their preparation like before the big race?
No, all the work is done, Gareth. So they just had a walk around this morning, and they'll ship over to the track in a couple of hours' time.
The big question is Al Riffer good enough to win a Melbourne Cup with 59?
Yeah, I guess we're going to find out today.
Yeah. How good is he?
Yeah, he's a good horse. Obviously, he won the Irish Ledger very well last time. The second horse, Frank de Form in America at the weekend. This is obviously a different test, and he's travelled down here and been here for the last number of weeks. But we're very happy with his preparation, and we think he's the right type of horse for the job.
A soft 6 at the moment. Are you happy with that surface?
Yeah, it should be just beautiful racing ground for everyone, I guess, by the time the race comes around today.
Because he did excel, didn't he? When I was talking to a few people that were there at the Curragh there on St. Ledger Day, they reckon it was more of a heavy track than it was soft track. And he absolutely destroyed his rifles on that surface. So if it gets to a heavy track, that shouldn't be a problem for him either. Is that how you see it?
No, he's very versatile ground-wise. It was pretty firm in Ascot when he was just a length off Rebel's Romance at 12 furlongs, and he obviously has form in soft and heavy ground. So he's very versatile when it comes to going, and that was something that we considered when we were thinking about traveling down here. That whether it was fast or slow, we didn't think it was going to affect him much.
His racing pattern, what can we expect today?
I suppose we'll leave it up to Mark mostly. The horse has placed, he's gone close to the lead and he sat back, so he can pretty much be placed wherever is appropriate given the tempo.
All right then. And Goody Two Shoes. Obviously, I remember talking to you about her a couple of months ago when you were thinking about bringing her out, and she's arrived. She gets into the cup the way that you wanted her to, not having a run for a while, but sneaking in at the bottom of the weights. Can she win the cup on a soft six?
Yeah, I guess the ground would be a slight concern for her. She's better on fast, but I think she's in off a very fair weight. She loved the distance. She's a stayer with a good turn of foot, so she has the right attributes. So let's see how much it dries out today, and
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing how she goes. I wouldn't be surprised if she ran very well.
And her pattern is she like a sit sprint and needs to be saved up for one last crack at them? How would you expect Wayne Lorden to ride her?
I think he'll push on a bit, Gareth, to be honest.
Yeah.
She's very uncomplicated. So again, he'll get a good forwards jump and, he'll assess the race as it's unfolding. They're both drawn out wide, so, they have plenty of options and there's plenty of time.
Yeah, it's been a pretty good year for Wayne Lorden, obviously winning his first derby, and he'll be trying to add now a Lexus Melbourne Cup to that honour roll for himself anyway to put another trophy in his cabinet.
Yeah, absolutely. Wayne's a top class rider, and he rode a Breeders' Cup winner for us a couple of years ago, and he's I think he's hit the board in the Melbourne Cup at least once, if not twice. So he suits our filly well, and we're delighted to have him.
All right then, mate. We wish you the best of luck. It's great to have you back in this country once again. And I don't know how you do it. So just your last week, so you're in Ireland, or you were in Dalmar, was it all week? And then obviously you caught a flight straight out. So just talk us through your last 7 days.
Yeah, no, it's pretty straightforward. Gareth, we obviously went from home to Del Mar mid last
Yeah.
week, and we were there for a couple of days, and then we had an easy flight from LAX direct into Melbourne. So, it's been really straightforward, and we're in a privileged position to have some
Yeah.
high class horses that we can run at these big meetings, and we feel very lucky to be able to travel the world and turn up at these big days.
And just explain before we let you go then the difference between, say, our carnival compared to a Breeders' Cup and a few of the other big meetings that you attend to around the world.
Yeah, I suppose. Listen, it's everybody is looking to compete at these big festivals, whether it's Royal Ascot this week here or the Breeders' Cup, and that they all have similarities, but every place is different as well, and at the end of the day, everyone's wanting to see a good horse race, and hopefully we get one this afternoon.
Well, we wish you the best of luck. Thanks for joining us here on Giddy Up on this Tuesday morning. And, yep, good luck today, Joseph.
Thanks, Garrett. All the best.
There's Joseph O'Brien, the champion trainer from Ireland. He's got those two runners. Goody Two Shoes, it might be too wet for her. But Al Riff is right in this contest despite carrying 59 kilos. It's 8:37. We'll take a break on the other side of it. We'll catch up with Paul Pruska, who's looking to win his first Melbourne Cup. Of course, he's based at Horsham in country Victoria, and he'll be sending around Tarazino in today's Cup.
Country meets Caulfield for the CF4 Stakes. Group 1 racing and family fun. November 15. Tickets at Ticketek. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy up with Gareth Hall.
Zeno for now is battling on, and then Barclay Square, Gilded Water. How much left in the tank? 200 metres to go. Still a good length and a quarter. Torrenzino, who's chasing Gilded Water, 3/4, a half. Torrenzino, who's coming now. Gilded Water joined and headed by Torrenzino. Torrenzino takes the lead, and it's going to be in the Melbourne Cup. Torrenzino won the Geelong Cup.
Torrenzino, too good in a Geelong Cup, the pride of Horsham for Port Prusca, and he'll turn up as a live chance in today's Lexus Melbourne Cup. And his trainer, Paul, joins us now. Good morning, Paul.
Morning, mate. How are you?
Good, thanks, mate. How are you feeling today?
Yeah, no, pretty. My job's done. Over to the strappers and the jockeys now.
He's come a long way.
Yeah. He's always had a bit to offer, but just taken a bit of work to get him there, you know.
So what work did you have to do to get him here today?
Oh, look, it's just been patience, you know. At last prep there, I had to go back to the drawing board and find him again, and then when I found him, I made sure he kept going for a bit and put it in concrete. So, you know, he's in good stead now for it. You know, the first time at the 2 mile, I don't think it'll be an issue, but certainly when the gates come back, we're all going to learn a bit.
Yeah, you rode him forward there in the Geelong Cup, but today, because you've got that query with him getting a strong 2 mile, how do you ride him today?
Yeah, look, I think it's we all know it's a race you need a bit of luck in, and you know, for that you sort of ride your own horse, and where he'll be. Certainly you wouldn't want to be hunting forward, but I'll leave a bit of an open rein to her. You know, the main thing for me is just get the horse right early, you know. So if she can have him switched off, he'll certainly be real strong late, you know.
What's his perfect ground?
Oh, look, he's been incredible, really. He's found himself on fast tracks, wet. So, he hadn't really probably been on a real heavy track. I don't think it'll worry. He's used to pulling his legs out of tough going, so he's certainly, you know, it's an assumption, but I'm happy to say he'll get through it, you know.
You're unlucky with Surprise Baby in a Melbourne Cup. Can you compare these two horses?
Yeah, this fella's he's a fair bit tougher. He's a bit more seasoned, I suppose. Certainly first time around Surprise Baby, he had that bit of, you know, was settling well and had the brilliance. This fella's he's just a fair bit tougher. I think mentally sort of, you know, he's probably stronger. And, you know, a while ago, I sort of thought, geez, you know, I said a couple of boys, Sapati's not my best horse, and he was showing a bit. So he's just matured and got tougher, and the more seasons he's got, the more he's showing. So certainly you need to be tough in this one, and he's the right horse for it, I think.
Did you start to believe after that run in that Bart Cummings off a fast pace, and he savaged the line behind it? Well, he was on pace following that tempo from Gilded Water, and he was able to hang on there for second against Valiant King?
Yeah, for sure. He, not that any of the connections were panicking. I was assuring him he'd do nothing until he got out to the trip, and it's just a matter of getting the races under him, setting him for the job, and it was pleasing to see him when he stepped right up in trip. He came with his runs, so I knew I had him right then, and anyway, hopefully, hopefully all the talking, it's not going to matter until after the race, but he's in great shape.
I remember talking to you when it was Surprise Baby's turn to head into a Melbourne Cup, and you said you couldn't go to your local cafe. Everyone was stopping you, and every time you got a haircut, they wanted to talk about Surprise Baby. What's it been like with this fella on Melbourne Cup week?
Yeah, it's been the same really. I got to apologise for all the text messages I haven't replied to. I cannot get around to them. But people are going right, and they really want the horse. They really want the horse to do something, and it's a great feeling really.
It's magical what a horse like this in a race like the Melbourne Cup can do for local communities. Not just for the Wimmera district, but for, I reckon, people around country Australia, but especially country Victoria, Paul.
Yeah, for sure. Whether it's a champion football come out the district, or it puts hope in people, doesn't it? And that's what the country's about.
Yep, totally agree, mate. Any winners today? Well, this week, outside, of course, Tarazino and the Lexus Melbourne Cup, he'll win the Cup. But and what about Poison Chalice in the Manifold Stakes on Oaks Day?
Yeah, look, he closed off the race good at Gawler first up on a heavy track. Trip was a good move, tighten him up for the job second up. He's, we all know he's a nice little horse. He's certainly fit and got the right man on board, so hopefully he turns up.
Enjoy the experience, yeah.
Anyway, we'll see how we go, mate.
Beautiful, mate. You get James McDonald to ride Poison Chalice there on Flemington on Oaks Day, which is race 5 there in that Manifold Stakes. But as a country Victorian boy, mate, I'll be cheering you with Torresina. I think it's great to have a horse like yours representing the bush, and it's important, I reckon, we have a storyline like this in the Lexus Melbourne Cup, and you're providing it this year, so we wish you the best of luck. Have you hit the road yet? When do you start to leave?
Yeah. Left at 7:30, and give yourself a spare bit of time. Getting in the last bit, getting in the Flemington Gateway is the longest bit.
Yeah. Well, we wish you the best of luck, mate. Enjoy the day.
Too easy, mate. Thank you.
There's Paul Pruska there, the trainer of Torresino, the horse from Horsham in this year's Lexus Melbourne Cup. We'll take a break. Stevie Power, the racing blogger, who's in a taxi, they tell me, heading towards Flemington for his first Cup experience. He has been absolutely sensational with his content and providing a wonderful platform for everybody to enjoy the spring racing carnival here in Victoria. And he's done it extremely well. He's a bloody superstar, and he'll be joining me next year on Giddy Up.
Country meets Caulfield for the CF4 Stakes. Group 1 racing and family fun. November 15. Tickets at Ticketek. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up, all thanks to Bet365. Don't forget, we've got Top Tote Plus with Bet365 today, and it's the only way to play when it comes to, of course, the Melbourne Cup, because you get the best of the 3 totes, and then the 6-horse challenge is in operation as well. You need to be an account holder with Bet365. But the best part about this, and I've got my mum onto it, you get to play for free, basically, and there's a chance that you could win $100,000. I think Mum got 4 out of 6 there the other day and got a little back. But she's looking for the 100 grand today. But it's a good way to play with your mates there on Melbourne Cup Day. This man has been a revelation since he's arrived in this country. He has been absolutely dead set sensational for this wonderful game, promoting, of course, the Melbourne Spring Carnival. And he's about to arrive now for our biggest day, Melbourne Cup Day. I speak of the racing blogger, Stevie Power. Bloggers, happy Melbourne Cup Day.
Cheers, Big G. I'm absolutely buzzing for it. I'm in a taxi at the moment on the way there. Here we go.
Here we go. First race at 10:45. But who are you backing in the Melbourne Cup? I saw you at the call of the card there yesterday. Just tell us again who you're on in the great race.
I'm on River of Stars and Prestige Nocturne. I felt like a little bit of a shrimp with some of those big punters there having $500,000 on, but I'll tell you what, if River of Stars wins, I'll be over the moon.
What did you make of that call of the car, bloggers?
I thought it was unbelievable to see people having huge bets freely in this day and age. For me, it's like, being in the jungle, the betting jungle. I love it. It was inspiring, to be honest. Felt like I was in Disneyland.
Yeah, because you don't get that back home, you were telling us?
No, not at all. We've got nothing like that. We're not even allowed to gamble in pubs. Australia's so far ahead of Britain and Ireland. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Do you know what you're going to expect today? You've been told a lot of the stories, I guess, but what are you expecting heading to Flemington for Melbourne Cup Day?
I think carnage, by the sounds of it. Yeah. People everywhere. Loose people all over the place and a lot of fun.
Yeah. What about Derby Day? What did you make of Derby Day, mate?
It was so classy. It was so enjoyable. The racing was fantastic. We saw some brilliant sprinters. And, I thought it was one of the best days racing I've been to be fair.
Yeah, no, it was terrific. And we loved you turning up to my local in South Melbourne, the Rising Sun, there yesterday for a Calcutta, which you experienced for the first time. And, mate, it was great to have you there. So we appreciate you coming on the show. You enjoy Melbourne Cup Day. Enjoy Flemington. Hopefully the traffic's not too bad. And it looks like I can see the sun and blue skies anyway, mate. So hopefully it stays away as well. But we appreciate everything you've done for the Melbourne Spring Carnival. And hopefully you can back a few winners today.
Yeah, Big G. I'm about to jump on a boat towards the track. So stay tuned for some funny videos.
Good on you, bloggers. We'll be watching.
Cheers, Big G. Take care, mate.
See you, brother. There's Stevie Power, of course, the racing blogger. It's quickly approaching 9 o'clock. Cheerio to some friends there on the rails, just out the front of our broadcast spot here at Flemington. Alistair Munro. He says they might be calling it a soft 7, Liam, but it's a heavy 10 on the rails. But it's a little bit different with the drainage there, of course. The course proper, but it's great to see so many people already rocking up here for Melbourne Cup Day. The great man, Jared Waitley, to join me straight after the 9 o'clock news.
Good morning, I'm Nath Gardner with SEN News. Gates are now open at Flemington for a huge day of racing and fashion at the biggest day on the racing calendar, the Melbourne Cup. Organisers are expecting a drop in attendance due to the wet weather, but looking at the Weather Bureau radar, there is no rain over the track for now. Trainer Chris Waller, who has 5 horses running, telling Nine the countdown is on for the big race due at 3 p.m. Melbourne time.
Ultimately, it's up to your horse being as fit as it can be on the day and still being bright. We're big on making sure they're happy, so that's been the focus the last few days. All the hard work's been done, so it's just about keeping the horses happy, keeping them loose and keeping them chilled.
And the track rating has been upgraded to a soft 6. Convicted mushroom cook killer Erin Patterson has been granted leave to appeal her convictions. Patterson was sentenced to life in prison with a 33-year non-parole period for the murders of 3 of her relatives after serving them a beef Wellington lunch in 2023. The Reserve Bank Board is expected to keep interest rates on hold when it meets today. The decision is likely to be driven by a recent rise in inflation. The man accused of carrying out a mass stabbing on a train bound for London has been charged with 11 counts of attempted murder. 32-year-old Anthony Williams will next face court in December. One person remains in a critical but stable condition. And today, the Albanese government is expected to announce a $20 million contract to provide batteries for the AUKUS submarines. Up next, sen.com.au sport. Boosting his chances of an Ashes recall, Marnus Labuschagne has made a 3rd century in a row, leading Queensland to victory over New South Wales in the One Day Cup. Thanks to Unibet, gamble responsibly in the NFL today. Last game to wrap up Week 9. The Dallas Cowboys host the Arizona Cardinals. And 9 matches in the NBA today, starting this morning with the Pacers and the Bucks and the Nets and Timberwolves.
Live on RSN and SEN Track. This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
One of Greg Miles's greatest ever race calls. I still can't believe he got that right. It looked like Bauer nailed Viewed right on the line to win that Melbourne Cup. I think Blake Shin was only 21 when he won his first Melbourne Cup. Of course, he did it for the legendary Bart Cummings. Welcome back to Giddy Up. We're now on 11:16 and you're listening to us on SEN Track 11:16 and also RSN. It's a busy hour coming your way here. We are live from Flemington. Jared Waitley will join me in just a moment. Then after that, Mark Hunter will go through each and every race for our preview, of course, of Melbourne Cup Day here at Flemington. But Jared Waitley is with me, as he always is on a Tuesday on Melbourne Cup Day. Hello to you, Jared. Happy Melbourne Cup Day.
Happy Cup Day to you, Gareth. What a fascinating sight it is the stroll down here. There's surface water everywhere at Flemington. The skies are completely mixed.
Yeah.
We are going to get the proverbial 4 seasons in one day in Melbourne, and the track's holding up, and it adds to the intrigue of one of the most intriguing cups we've had in many a year.
The best part about Melbourne Cup Day for me is that when you have a look at the rise of the Racing Australia website and you have a look at the different racetracks that will host meetings on Cup Day, from Dubbo to Kemmler Grange to Murwillumbah, Muswellbrook, Sapphire Coast, Tamworth, Taree, Wentworth just outside of Mildura, Bairnsdale, Echuca, Mildura, Mansfield hold their picnic meeting, Wangaratta, host of meetings in Queensland, Rockhampton, Bundaberg, Toowoomba, Townsville, Charleville, Eagle Farm, on the Gold Coast, and Ascot, Bunbury and Geraldton in WA, Morphettville in South Australia, Hobart in Tassie, Canberra in the ACT, and of course Darwin in the Territory. That's why the Melbourne Cup will always be the biggest race in this country.
Yeah, so historically it's unique and it's been treasured. I think it's going through a resurgence at the moment for all sorts of reasons. I think it lost its way and it lost its hold, and that has steadily been reignited over the past 4 years. And some of that has to do with what happens culturally, some of it has to do with what happens on the track. And the sequence of races that we've had, which begins with Very Elegant in brilliant sunshine, best horse in the land, streets them in a Melbourne Cup. The next year, a runner from the Arc beats the Geelong Cup winner and the Bendigo Cup winner without a fight, gives us the Cups double, which had been thought consigned to folklore really after more than a couple of decades. And last year, that reassurance that any horse in the colony can win. That's the foundation piece of the Melbourne Cup. And Knight's Choice, who this time last year, no one was giving a chance to, and yet rank and file punters who have their $5 each way every year as a ritual. The only time they have a bet, they back the singing jockey, they back the lady trainer who'd won 2 decades earlier, they back the Royal Reference, they back the Pretty Colours, and it was a disaster for bookmakers, even though the horse ran between 100 and 300 to 1. And that's the beauty of the Cup. That's
the beauty about racing. Tell me another sport that could produce a story like that.
But the Cup is different because it draws everybody in. And I think we did go through those years of awkwardness, whether we still allowed to have a bet in the Cup as things move culturally. Are we still allowed to have a party around the Cup when there had been fatalities on the track? I think that the resurgence has been so strong. And I feel that everywhere coming into this year's Cup, some of those campaigns don't seem nearly as visible today as they did this corresponding day, say, 6 years ago.
And the best part about the Lexus Melbourne Cup is that there is storylines everywhere, but this year there seems to be a lot more stories than previous years. What do you think is the number one story coming out of this year's Melbourne Cup?
Well, I agree with you. I think that the stories are everywhere, which is the whole point. Is this is not a race that's got 4 chances.
No.
And it is a race that has 24 pretty remarkable stories. Torrenzino, which you've told the story of in the last hour, and Celine Gaudry. You've got Jamie Mellom trying to win the Cups double, riding against her husband in the race. So what's the number one story? Is Jamie Mellom will carry internationally if she were to win today. I do think the intrigue around the way the Cup has always been, so I'm absolutely riveted to the fact that El Rifa is the favourite. This has never happened in metrics.
No.
Think Big carried 58.5, Maccabi Diva carried 58. So you have to go back to the days of Rain Lover, 9 stone 7, to come up with a horse that carried this sort of weight to win the great race. He will be a heavyweight champion of the Melbourne Cup. He'll not only be today's winner if he prevails, but he'll be a heavyweight champion straight into folklore if he wins today.
It's been funny watching El Rifa because only 4 or 5 days ago he was easy in the market. No one really wanted him, and he was at $10. I don't know if it's because of the rain that's arrived here, if it's the Mark Sarah factor with his dominance there on Derby Day. Joseph O'Brien's obviously looking for his 3rd Melbourne Cup, or is this from the simple perspective that some heavy hitters in this horse El Rifa that love a punt? and they're backing him with confidence.
Probably. It's probably all of that.
Yeah.
It's probably a sense of international superiority. So I feel like I've lived this a couple of times. We certainly lived it with Oscar Schindler, and we lived it again with Septimus.
Correct.
And they are part of racing folklore as cautionary tales. This has a bit of Vintage Crop's Day about it. This was sort of how the weather was for Vintage Crop. It's got a bit of Gold Trip to it as well. Has carried the #1 saddlecloth on a day like this. So it's deeply fascinating to see where he fits in, but he will have to defy all the modern history of the Cup to win it. And then, we're telling stories of Empire Rose, who won it at her third attempt, and that's Vauban. And that's Absurd, who are trying to do that. There's 9 horses who've run in the race before, and they're coming back. For a little while, there was a taboo around, well, if you didn't win it the first time, you won't win it. That's not true anymore. Is that these hulking stayers, that it's an old field. 9-year-olds, 8-year-olds, 7-year-olds.
How good's that?
There's mature horses who are ready for the thorough test, and then you've got the Northern Hemisphere 3-year-old who's trying to do it so early on in his career. Mares have carved out such a place in this race, and obviously no more so than Maccabi Diva. So, and we're watching a replay of Ethereal right now as she completed the Cup's double. It because of the way the track is, it will probably be a stretched out finish. That's what happens on wet tracks, and it'll be a glorious spectacle, and I'm deeply intrigued by it.
As Mark Hunter, and he'll chat to us a little later on, but this is a proper Melbourne Cup from a perspective. It's a 2-mile handicap race where it's been a lot of fun digging into the form here and trying to work out and put this puzzle together. Like if you go back in history, we talked about this. Can you back El Riffa? Is he as good as Vinnie Rowe and those type of horses? I know he's probably got a similar or different profile to them, but history tells you that they just don't win with 59, and then you've got to try and work out the other internationals. Like, how much will these internationals that compete in the Caulfield Cup improve heading to Flemington? What will the McDonald factor be with Maidan replacing Itsini? How good is this flat in the curve? He's been winning in Kentucky. Like, can he jump out of the ground? Can a Warrnambool galloper can a Warrnambool Cup produce a Melbourne Cup winner?
Yeah, it would be great if it could.
Yeah, it can. Like, there's so many different storylines here that you're trying to work out. Can the genius of Waller turn around a Land Legend or a More Fallons? Or is it Valiant King, who at the start of the spring, you would have given 200 to 1 that he would be at single digits for Lexus Melbourne Cup, but he's just jumped out of the ground since they put the blinkers on. Will there be enough pace for him? Who leads? So that's why the Cup's the greatest race.
It is, and this has all the elements of the deep intrigue of a potentially great Cup. Much better, I think, than we've had in recent years. So we've been having these great winners to restore the Cup, but not quite with the sense of mystery that exists in this one, I don't reckon. And so I always think that don't let anybody talk you out of what you like. That's the #1 rule of Cup Day. And don't be intimidated by anyone who says, oh, no, your horse can't win. Do you want to do your money on a horse you've never seen before and will never see again?
Yes.
And that's part of the modern Melbourne Cup. And there's so many times that's happened. Have you been following a horse for a couple of years? That was part of Knight's choice, is if you had backed him in the Wink Skinnies in Queensland a couple of years before, had you stayed with him through the lean times all the way to winning at 300 to 1 in a Melbourne Cup, is you pick up the threads of these horses. It's not as rich as it used to be because the pattern has changed so much on that front, but there's certainly a way into this. I love that the first 5 in the Caulfield Cup are here. 10 of them from Caulfield return in the 24-horse field. It's the capacity field. Some of the internationals we've already seen. You can go back to last year's Cup and try to figure out, was One Smooth Operator better run than Absurd? And if Buckaroo had been ridden differently. So,
but Knight's Choice still won that Cup.
That's right.
Yeah.
And he came through with the Japanese, who was completely disregarded.
And then you got the Japanese horse today with Damien Lane that's been beaten out of sight. And some say that the Japanese galloper won't keep up on a soft 5 or soft 6, needs a good track. So it's just... And then I love the Half Yours story. Now, Cole McKenna, who loved this race, the late Cole McKenna, who was so great for people in this sport of racing. He invested a lot of money. He helped out a lot of people, including Kira Ma. And when he passed away, the McKenna family sold a few of his horses, including Half Yours, who was owned by Kira Ma and Cole McKenna. And they put it online, and they're the underbidder to Tony and Calvin McAvoy, who didn't know what they were doing, really. As Tony McAvoy pointed out with Lizzie and Richo this morning on their show, that he had to go and look up that horse once it got to $300,000 because he really never had heard of it before. It was more Calvin that was the one pushing to purchase this horse. And then all of a sudden it goes to Queensland, wins the Caloundra Cup, wins its way into a Caulfield Cup, and now it's the second favourite for a Melbourne Cup.
Yeah, and ran once a month.
Yeah.
Almost right through the year.
And it's by St. Jean that no one knows who St. Jean is.
Ran twice in October.
Yeah.
And he's been billed as the local hope, as the only true Australian horse, as it were. Wouldn't get too deep into that, but he carries hopes on so many fronts. And Tony he's a big figure in the history of our racing.
Yeah.
What happened after David Hayes went to Hong Kong, and when Peter Hayes passed away, and he had his time running that operation. He strikes out on his own. He trains with his son. They're beautiful images with Jamie Mellon when they win the Caulfield Cup, and it's straight to folklore.
Yeah.
If you complete the Cups double, as household names do that. And then there's Buckaroo, second in a Caulfield Cup, second in a Cox Plate. Could today be his day? Craig Williams. So never ridden the horse before.
Yeah.
Goes and has a sit. Just goes and has a sit.
I can't believe that. That was a fascinating story
so
John O'Neill
imagine
told
if
us.
he wins, how big a part of Cup lore that becomes. He just wanted to go and sit on a horse's back.
He shared that on his social media there, Craig Williams, about how he went out and basically had a chat to Buckaroo just to get to know him a little bit. And that is the 1%ers, basically.
And then there are omens, and I think omens are the best part of the Cup. So the modern day omen is if you're the horse on the front page of the Herald Sun with the pretty girl, you can't win. That's Presage Nocturne.
Yeah.
So I presume when the Herald Sun rings these days, they expect everyone to say no. So they go to the Fred shoe. Well, they haven't been here before. They don't know. And Ariane Titmus goes and poses with the horse. And people who have backed Presage are going to back Presage. Oh, my God, it can't win now. And Half Yours took his chance 2 days ago on the front page. So I love the way, of course it has nothing to do with anything, but there's a pattern that people start to deeply believe in.
And do you know when they announced that you're going to get $100,000 for finishing last, and they didn't think that was in the spirit of the Melbourne Cup, and people might run just because they're going to get $100,000 for last. So I thought that was rubbish. I thought, well, fair enough. If you're paying all of the money that you need to get into the Cup, I think it's 60-odd thousand, then you should be rewarded for getting into the Lexus Melbourne Cup. I think that's an achievement in itself. But then you just, and this proves my point, I reckon, the story regarding Arapaho, who is owned by a big group of people, but Paul Griffin, who owned this horse, tragically passed away on Melbourne Cup Day last year. And I think Bjorn and the connections were weighing up whether they go to the Cup or not, but the Griffin family bring all of their family here today to celebrate his life with his horse that he would have loved to have seen in a Melbourne Cup that won the Sydney Cup. And to me, that's why this race is special.
And if you qualify for the Melbourne Cup, you should run in it.
Correct.
It's the rite of passage. It doesn't matter. So last year, my dad had, with my racehorse, Just Fine.
Yeah.
He qualified for the Melbourne Cup. He went past the post in front the first time round and ran last.
Yes.
He qualified for the Melbourne Cup.
Yeah.
If you are in that order, you should take your place and front up, for the reason that nobody truly knows who's going to win. But this is supposed to be the dream, so that the founders of the Melbourne Cup decided handicap, ridiculous, 2 miles, peculiar, any horse in the colony can win. It'll never last. And yet here we are. And that's, so we shouldn't lose. We lost sight of it for a little while. We made it World Championship racing, staying. It's not that.
No.
It's our race, and we have to be able to see ourselves in it. And if you can qualify your horse for it, you should run.
Totally agree. And you go and talk to Chris Waller and James McDonald. They're the two biggest names in our game at the moment. They said that their popularity in a way, or people knowing who they are, changed when they won a Melbourne Cup.
And they'll all tell you that, as Damien Oliver says, you can win all the races in the country, but your life changes the moment that you win a Melbourne Cup. And I think that Robbie Dolan's probably the best example of that, and Sheila Laxon as well. Is for the next week you're the most known person in Australia, and then it lasts forever. As we had a laugh at the Carbine Club 2 years ago, Robbie Dolan came and sang the national anthem. The singing jockey. No, we don't introduce him as the singing jockey anymore. Melbourne Cup winning jockey for the rest of his life as he walks into every room he ever will.
It's still one of the most remarkable Melbourne Cup stories when you think about it that and you explain it like that.
Bred by a Blue Diamond winner who'd side a Golden Slipper winner, winning the Melbourne. Like, it broke every rule, but it actually reinforced everything the Cup is supposed to be, and it's reassuring. So the best horse in the land can win it.
Yeah.
And the most unlikely horse in the land can win it.
We're live from Flemington for a special Giddy Up. Gareth Hall and Jared Waitley with you. We'll come back with plenty more straight after this.
Country meets Caulfield for the CF4 Stakes. Group 1 racing and family fun. November 15. Tickets at Ticketek. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy up with Gareth Hall.
And back behind them, here's Maccabi Diva. A nation roars for a hero. She's starting to wind up. 300 left to go now. Maccabi Diva's racing up. Envoy's trying to go with her. They've got to Portland Singer and Lachlan River. Here comes Like a Pelford and Excellent. But Maccabi Diva clear with 100 metres to go. Excellent runs to second. Olazern runs on. But a champion becomes a legend. Maccabi Diva has won it from either Olazern. Excellent.
So that was her third straight Melbourne Cup, Maccabi Diva, and she wins with 58. So in today's world, she would have carried 59, which is 61, basically, with the 2 kilo allowance that the mares get.
20 years ago, never been a better day than that that I've experienced. And by the time we left, the VRC had commemorative postcards printed.
Yep.
So at the gate, you could collect you were here for it. They also had gold embossed race books that day for a lot of us who were working. So it had your name gold embossed on the front. So the sense of history around that was, it was magnificent. And we all signed each other's postcards on the way out who'd worked. And I was working with Drew Morfitt and David Morrow, who have both passed away subsequently. Yes. So that is one of the great keepsakes. The sense of history around that day was so rich, and it was beautifully prepared by everybody involved. And then we got our story.
This is the Melbourne Cup expert commentary thanks to Robot Building Supplies, helping you get the right products for the job at a better price. That moment, many say that we'll never see again, like 3 straight Melbourne Cups, 58 on her back. What would be your favourite Melbourne Cup moment?
So that's right up there.
Yeah.
I was just having a quick look. I've been to, this is my 32nd Cup here. My earliest memory is Kiwi. Dad got tipped Kiwi by a cab driver months in advance. In those, it was a time, Gareth, where you had to post a way to get a market sent to you and then send your money back in. So I remember at Talak's the first one. So I backed at Talak. I was a devotee of CS Hayes and M. Clark. Came for the first time to see Superimpose get beaten by Torific. Watched that race back the other day. There was this time in the straight where he was absolutely going to win. I came with my future wife to Let's Elope, and we had a picnic out on the members' lawn, trying to protect your space. And then the Might and Power Doremus here was entirely memorable. I was here with my brother-in-law that day, and that was just incredible. All we did was take the Quinella. And we just took it over and over and over and over and over and over again, and it didn't matter who'd won when they hit the line. The Maccabi years were the best years because you would just back Maccabi every year, and you didn't have to wait. Who are you going to tip? I'm just tipping Maccabi. I'm going to tip her till she gets beaten. She won at 4 straight carnivals, 3 straight cups. Prince of Penzance 10 years ago. The country changed that day. You could feel it instantly. It was a true moment in time, and the ripple effect across all sport, all society. There'll be, in 50 years' time, there'll be theses written about what happened that day and how it changed everything in Australia. And it's still changing 10 years on, but that was a true moment in time. And then I wanted to see the Cups double again. And it was so satisfying to see Without a Fight do that a couple of years ago. And then with 25% of the crowd and very elegant streaked away. It just, that's why I love racing, to see the best horse in the country do that.
Maccabi Diva's story that week leading into that Melbourne Cup, when Glenn Boss thought it was the last time that he would ride her in a Cox plate, and then it was still 50-50 whether she turns up to a Melbourne Cup. And then the famous line from Lee Freeman after the race, he said, you go and see every
youngest person on the track.
And they'll never see anything like that again. It was one of the greatest lines from a winning trainer in any sport. That I can remember,
and
really.
That's the one it's entirely likely to hold, because the whole principle of the race is that it can't happen, and yet it did. And the chances that it would happen again is they'll be here for the 320th running of the Melbourne Cup, and it won't have happened again.
Sack Tunbridge is telling me Al Riffer and Absurd both had plenty of support overnight. Buckaroo is friendless and on the drift. Valiant King is steady, and River of Stars really popular, Jared. So who are you backing in this year's Lexus Melbourne Cup?
I don't feel terribly inclined to. I'm up for all of it. So I think I'll tip Valiant King, cheer for Buckaroo, and have something on Presage Nocturne.
Yeah.
I think that's my approach.
I'm with Valiant King. I just think it's going to be his race today. 51 kilos on his back after watching him in a Caulfield Cup. Like half yours has to give him 2 kilos, basically.
Yeah.
I don't know if El Riff, he's the best horse in the race, but I don't know if he can give Valiant King 8 kilos and win a cup on a soft ground. Half yours, he's going to be hard to beat. Presage Nocturne, yes. I'm taking on Buckaroo. I don't think he'll get 2 mile. Absurd. I'm going to watch him in the yard. River of Stars. I reckon she'll loom up like she's going to win, but someone with more brilliance will beat her.
Yep.
Because she's an iron girl, but she hasn't got that turn of foot. Maydan might enjoy the ground. Flatten the curve. I'm tipping it because I love the jock, and he's declared it to me, and he says he's something special.
He makes me laugh.
Yep.
Actually, you make me laugh
Yeah.
as well. I like the way you've tipped right into it.
And I watch these replays, and I've seen that turn of foot. I know he isn't beating much, but you have to trust your eye sometimes, Jared.
I watched that most recent replay and thought, holy hell, I don't even know how to make sense of that, other than you have to be a pretty good horse to do that. And they're not going to switch him to the mud here today, no matter how much it rains.
Yeah, I want Harry to win a cup, but he can't do it this year because it's too wet with one smooth operator, I think. Same with Goody Two Shoes. He's got JP McManus as her owner. Kieran McManus, his son, was just betting to win $1 million like I was betting to win 100, just for fun, basically. Yep. Torresino would be a story and a half for the cup.
Yes,
we talked about Arapaho. Middle Earth would be one of the greatest training performances by Kieran Maher to do what he's been able to do with the way that he's prepared that galloper.
Yep.
Blinkers on to the Valley after a disappointing Caulfield Cup run. I think he worked him this morning, along with Royal Supremacy. And then
what if Robbie Dolan won it back-to-back?
Well, there you go.
Imagine that.
Yeah. Jeez, I'd love to be his manager. He wouldn't ride again in Brisbane. He just turned up to Flemington. That was his first winner too at Flemington last year when he won the Cup.
Amazing. If Royal Supremacy wins, Crash is taking a sort of the flower drum.
Parchment Party can't win. He's a dirt horse. It would be one of the greatest shocks in my time, even more of a shock than the horse Knight's Choice winning last year. But wouldn't it be great for 2 Hall of Fame Americas, Johnny V and Bill Mott, to win a race like this? Changing of the guard, surely Lloyd can't do it with this horse. And then, who knows? But it's going to be a great day.
It is.
St. George will win race 6 today.
Yeah,
I'm bullish with him.
Okay. Might let my whole day's fortunes rest on St. George.
I've got more tips in the first race than I've ever had before. This Pinner Turbo Colt, they're tipping strongly. Carnival for the Lindsay Park, but Louis, my producer's walked in and she's tipping me one. Tornado Valley for Kieran and Ethan Brown. So there you go. Just back yourself in, basically.
Just tell me
Jared.
which one's going to handle the wet. Actually, I was doing the 2-year-old history.
Yeah.
It's a double figures race.
Yeah.
In recent times.
Yeah.
Plus, it's wet.
Yeah.
Blimey. No,
I'll still back the favourite, Jared.
10:45 latte time.
Yeah.
Not punting time.
It's best in Perth when you wake up. And when I was staying in Perth, living in Perth,
7:45
you'd wake up and you have your Cocoa Pops and it'd be 7:45 and they'll be away they go at Flemington and you've got to look forward to Ascot. Jared, it's been a lot of fun. We could talk about this cup all day long. You'll be upstairs with Wayne Hawkes today, or is it just yourself?
Just me in isolation.
Beautiful. Well, you enjoy yourself, and then, of course, you'll be teaming up with Cam Luke, David Taggart, and also Joshy Jenkins on this Tuesday.
Have a great cup day, Gareth.
Same to you, mate. There's Jared Whaley. Time for the news. Mark Hunter to join me next to preview Cup Day.
Good morning. Making SEN News headlines. Caulfield Cup winner, Half Yours, one of the hot favourites in today's Melbourne Cup, and is the only Australian horse running. It'll be compulsory for power companies to offer Australians 3 hours of free power in the middle of the day, under regulations to be enforced from next July. There are reports illegal vapes in strong circulation in Australia could contain potentially dangerous levels of chemicals, including the embalming fluid formaldehyde. And economists are tipping the Reserve Bank will keep keep the interest rate on hold today. Up next, sen.com.au sport. Boosting his chances of an Ashes recall, Marnus Labuschagne has made a third century in a row, leading Queensland to victory over New South Wales in the One Day Cup. Thanks to Unibet, gamble responsibly in the NFL today. Last game to wrap up Week 9. The Dallas Cowboys host the Arizona Cardinals. And 9 matches in the NBA today, starting this morning with the Pacers and the Bucks and the Nets and Timberwolves.
Country meets Caulfield for the CF4 Stakes. Group 1 racing and family fun. November 15. Tickets at Ticketek. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy Up with Gareth Hall. The Giddy Up Bag of Tips for Oz Equipment Rentals. Supplying equipment to the construction, mining and roadworks industries. OzEquipment.com.
Welcome back to Bag of Tips, all thanks to the Ultima Hotel in the heart of the Mallee, just down the road from Swan Hill. Swing by for a cold beer and, of course, Oz Equipment Rentals. Let's catch up with Mark Hunter, the superstar, to preview Cup Day. Hello to you, Mark.
Morning, Gareth.
We'll run through these races, mate. We'll start off with the Maribyrnong Plate. Carnival's the favourite at $4. Tornado Valley at $6.50, and then we go out to Daily Reward that's had good backing at $10. Who do you like on the 2-year-old?
I don't have an opinion. There's too many queries. I'll go 1, 2, 4. I thought number 1, Nerl, had a good chance. Coming off that Saturday race, which I think is the strongest form. Tornado Valley, good on debut, and not much between Carnival and Diameter from the trial. So I won't be betting. I'd go 1, 2, 4, 5.
McDane's at $2.90, Party Crash at $4.80, Brave Miss $6.50 with Bet 365. They're the top 3 in the market here. Who do you like in the second?
I like McDane. I think the race just sets up absolutely perfectly for it. Barrier 1, it's in great form. It gets onto soft ground, which is a plus. Just gets a beautiful run behind the speed. Should get into the clear at the right time, so McDane the one to beat. Gigging back, going well, gets a great run, has got a chance. And a little roughy for the multiples here, number 8, JKN, who will appreciate wet ground. So I'd go 3, 14 and 8.
And the scratchings in that race, you've got to take out the 4, 9, 11, 12, 13, 17 and 18. Race number 3, scratchings are clear here. Arabian Prince 420, could be a big day for Michael Kent. Champagne Hero at 480. Different Gravy at 480 will be hard to beat. And then you've got Matunga at $8, Obvious at $11 here in the third, Mark.
We're going to need a good ride from Mzara, and we don't know Different Gravy on a wet track, but it was outstanding in Adelaide. It should have walked in, got strung up in traffic, got clear, roared home and just missed. It will need luck from the gate, but it's my top pick. I thought number 2, Obvious. Chased home a good one, albeit well beaten last time. Gets a great run from the draw. 6 Island Boy at big odds. The blinkers went on this horse. It flew, so it's not the worst. 9 Arabian Prince, maybe it wins. It would have been trained for the Derby. It's got to be dreadfully one-paced and giving them a start here. So I'll go 4, 2, 6 and 9.
So 4, 2, 6 and 9 in race number 3. Let's have a look at the 4th race at Flemington today. And we've got Peloton at $3, Your Horse Street Artist at $4, Aleppo Pine at $6.50, Bold Secret at $10. You're tipping a Street Artist here, mate, one of your horses?
I think if he ran to his Mornington run, he would win and win comfortably. He went to Bendigo. He was unimpressive, but he pulled up with pretty bad heat exhaustion after that, just about collapsed at the track. So we think he's back on track. He's been back in trial behind my Gladiola. Got to take him a little bit on trust, given those setbacks, but I think he's the best horse to beat number 2, Peloton, who should park behind the speed, get every chance to challenge. And 8 and 9. 8, that's my money. That's money, brother. Good win on debut, ridden cold. Got the job done, ridden forward last time. And 9 Bold Secret, who was just given no habit Mooney Valley. Craig Williams jumps back on, can improve. 4, 2, 8 and 9.
So 4, 2, 8, 9, Mark, with Street Artists at $4 with Bet365. We'll take a break. We'll come back and have a look at the second half of the card, including the Cup next.
Country meets Caulfield for the CF4 Stakes. Group 1 racing and family fun. November 15. Tickets at Ticketek. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back. We're with Mark Hunter as we go through this Flemington card on Cup Day. We're up to the Heritage Cup. Golden Century mark at $4.60. Let's Steal at $5. And Diego de Vega has been well supported into $5.50 now.
With 10 and 9, Gareth, out of the same race at Caulfield, Golden Century just missed the kick and got a bit far back there and had too much ground to make up. So I think with the better getaways can settle closer to beat number 9, Let's Deal. It's just had a beautiful preparation for this race, racing itself into form, gets to its home track, will go forward for Craig Williams. 14, Farrago. He'd love a bit of rain. He's going well, this horse. He's far from the worst at odds. And 17, Carburan, who will be your leader, will give you a good side in front. 10, 9, 14 and 17.
So 10, 9, 14 and 17. St. George is the favourite at $3.50 from Kingswood at $4 in the Ichiban plate there in race number 6, Mark. Who do you like here?
I don't like the race. Look, St. George is the obvious. I'm just concerned that one go on the soft wasn't great. But it might be a better horse now. I'm going to go 12, 8, 5 and 3. Number 12, Real Class. I think it's going really well. It is ready to win. Scratch from Mooney early last week. It's got a good little value chance here to beat number 8, Molly Bloom, who didn't fly last time. Her best form is competitive. She looks like she needs blinkers and she gets them here. 5, St. George, come off that spell, was fantastic at Seymour. And 3, Kingswood. He doesn't want any rain. He'll go forward. There's no speed in this race. He'll be up on the pace getting a beautiful run. 12, 8, 5 and 3.
So 12, 8, 5 and 3. Geez, this money's relentless now for our refer in the Lexus Melbourne Cup. He's $5.50 with Bet 365. Half yours, $7.50. Presage Nocturne at 9. And then Valiant King at 10. Buckaroo's Easy at 11. And that basically says it all regarding this year's Melbourne Cup when it comes to these market movers, Mark.
Yeah, I'm down the bottom, Gareth. I can't see anything wrong with Valiant King. It ran okay in the race when it wasn't going well last year. It's come back from a spell. Those blinkers have gone on. Terrific win at Flemington. Super in the Caulfield Cup. Down there on 51 kilos. No worries if the rain comes. Should run the trip strongly. And Jai's just got to park 2/3 of the way back. Get out into that 3-wide train. It'll run super. To beat 23, Torrenzino. It chased that speed at Flemington. Was really good. And ran down a good horse at Geelong. I was pleased to hear Paul Prushka say on radio they're going to ride it a bit quietly. I think it's got a great hope. 21, River of Stars. Sydney Cup place getter, racing itself into form, strong through the line at Caulfield. And 14, Half Yours. Just has to tick that 2-mile box, but it's been winning over 2,400 on the dry ground and will just love to get its toe in here. So 24, 23, 21 and 14.
So Mark Hunter's Melbourne Cup selections, 24, 23, 21 and 14. So Valiant King to win this year's Melbourne Cup for Mark Hunter. Ludlam at $5.50 has been heavily supporting the Amanda Elliott from Navy Pilot at $6, Bakash at $6. Graham Begg said this could be the best horse he's got in his stable, Ludlam, and the punters have reacted and he's been heavily supported.
It's got to handle soft ground. That's what you don't know. It's never seen it. It was a terrific debut in the Trey Magnifique race. Then went to Seymour, beat Churguay, and ran it down after covering ground was just far too strong. It should relish 1,400 metres. You would think being drawn where it is no disadvantage by this race or by this stage of the day. It's just got to handle the soft here to beat number 8, Burma Star. Has to run 1,400 metres. It's going well and will handle the ground. 3, Grand Prairie, got too far back last time, tick over, jump out since, and 4, Bakash. Got a good chance, probably doesn't want any more rain to fall. 15, 8, 3 and 4.
Yeah, good little race there, Amanda Elliott this year. Surf and Bird at 2.10 has been heavily supported. Fancify $7. Gumdrops is next best at $7.50 here in the Hong Kong Jockey Club Stakes. Who do you like here?
It should win Surf and Bird. It's seen a soft 7 on debut at Maui, so you would say yes, it handles it, but it was down on the inside in the best part of the track, and it was early in the day, so maybe the track wasn't that bad. That's the only issue I've got. The win at Caulfield was unbelievable. Sat wide, roared away, ran fantastic time. All being equal, it should win. I'll be saving on number 14, Pondalawi, who I think is going well. It can trail through. It's got a good run on a soft 7. Then out to 5, Bossy Nick. Has to run a strong 1,400. I don't think it quite does, but it gets soft ground. and 7 Electric Impulse, who would be competitive on its best form on soft ground also. But 15 should win. 15, 14, 5 and 7.
So 15, 14, 5 and 7. Then Sunshine in My Pockets, the 380 favourite from Nadola and Persian Spirit, both around that 460 quote there in the last race on Cup Day.
They're the three
Second
chances.
last.
They're the three chances, but you wouldn't be keen on Sunshine in My Pocket if we got rain. So
Okay.
I'm working on number 12, Persian Spirit. I think this horse is flying. Come back from a spell in great order. Was beaten by the bias down there at Geelong. You'd think being drawn off the track would be no disadvantage by now. To be $3 come back from a spell in sensational form. Handles the soft, got a great chance. 7 Sunshine in My Pocket. Look, it goes in, but it would not want a track downgrade or rain to fall. And 9 So Risque. I thought it could win last time. It was awful. I don't know what happened to it. The run before would give it a chance. 12, 3, 7 and 9.
So 12, 3, 7 and 9. We're on weather watch. Hopefully it stays away, but it looks like there's going to be rain falling at some stage today, Mark Hunter. So it'll be interesting to see what this track does. But what's your best bet? And
Race
also I'll
9.
get your quaddie.
Yep, race 9, number 15, My Best Surfing Bird. My value, race 7, number 23, Torrenzino. And the quaddie will take a flexi. Gareth will take first leg 1, 6, 8, 14, 21, 23 and 24. Second leg 1, 3, 4, 8 and 15. Third leg 14 and 15. And last leg 3, 7 and 12.
Happy Cup Day, Mark. Let's hope we get the quaddie.
Thank you, Gareth.
There's Mark Hunter there with his preview of Flemington on Melbourne Cup Day. 1, 6, 8, 14, 21, 23, 24. His numbers in the first leg of the quaddie. 1, 3, 4, 8 and 15 the second leg. 14 and 15 the third leg. And then 3, 7 and 12 the final leg. We'll take a break. We'll come back with more of a bag of tips as we hope to try and find you plenty of winners here on Cup Day. And we'll go right across the country next.
Country meets Caulfield for the CF4 Stakes. Group 1 racing and family fun. November 15. Tickets at Ticketek. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up, all thanks to Bet365. Our top 10 multi is up. You're getting a boost to 325. Just need to go to the Bet365 app. It's Flatten the Curve top 10 with Valiant King top 10. Oh, that is a dead set moral today. That is the best top 10 boost we've ever had with Bet365. Don't forget you can play for free with the 6-horse challenge. It's easy to do as well. You just need to be a Bet365 customer. And you're allowed to play that 6-horse challenge, and there is a possibility that you could win $100,000 if you get all 6 right today. 0499 736 736. Let us know who you like in the Cup. We'd love to hear from you. It's quickly approaching 10 o'clock. On the other side of it, Mitchie Lewis will join me as we try and find you some winners, of course, at Flemington once again. Plus, we'll go around the country in a bid to find you plenty of winners as well at most of those venues anyway that are racing on Cup Day. It is 10 o'clock and it's news time. This is Giddy Up live from Flemington, all thanks to Bet365. It's great to have your company on this Cup Day.
Good morning, I'm Nath Gardner with SEN News. To the Melbourne Cup first, where the Flemington track is currently rated as a soft 6. Race 1 of today's 10-race card is due later this hour, and depending on who you talk to, there's a few favourites for this afternoon's Melbourne Cup among the field of 24. Al Riffo being one, and Half Yours hoping to seal the Caulfield and Melbourne Cup double. Trainer Calvin McAvoy says the forecast conditions will suit him.
He's a proven performer on soft ground, and look, he's shown that he's versatile. He's ran very well on good threes, but he's even better on a wet track.
Thanks to Racing.com. Police believe they've busted a national drug syndicate accused of importing substances concealed in shoes and plastics. 268 kilos of drugs have been seized and 18 people arrested in the sting in New South Wales and WA with help from AFP officers. Under new regulations in force from next July, power companies will be forced to offer 3 hours of free power in the middle of the day to all Australian households. According to government estimates, the move could save households up to $800 a year on their energy bills. A recent rise in inflation is likely to see the Reserve Bank shy away from cutting the cash rate when the board meets today. Economists are widely tipping the RBA will keep interest rates on hold. And after kicking off the Australian leg of their world tour in Perth on the weekend, Metallica have flown into Adelaide ahead of their concert at Adelaide Oval tomorrow night. Up next, SEN Sport. The Sydney Kings have ended Melbourne United's hopes of a 10-game winning run to start the NBL season, upsetting the ladder leaders 95-92. In the NBA today, the Pacers and the Bucks and the Nets and Timberwolves tip off 9 matches scheduled for today. And thanks to Unibet, gamble responsibly. NFL's Week 9 wraps up today with the Dallas Cowboys hosting the Cardinals.
Live on RSN and SEN Track. This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up, live from Flemington for a special Giddy Up. It's 4 minutes past 10. Time to get a few tips now from our experts right across the country. Our first lot of tips are coming through. Just got to get my computer screen working. Here we go. Check out racingqueensland.com.au for where Queensland is racing today. Chris Nelson at Eagle Farm. He likes race 1, number 14, Extreme Taste. Race 2, number 9, Balance the Books. Race 3, number 6, Ivy Dexterous. Race 8, number 12, Vovo. And Dial Day, race 9, number 10, Each Way. So that's Chris Nelson's tips there at Eagle Farm. Clint Hutchison, thanks to racing.com, has set through his tips. Race 9, number 15, Surf and Bird is his best bet. His next best, race 2, number 3, MacDane. And his best value is race 3, number 8, Snit Sonic. So that's race 9, number 15, race 2, number 3, race 3, number 8. NT Thoroughbred Racing is simply the best racing entertainment in the territory. Andrew O'Toole at Fanny Bay likes race 1, number 2, Signal Bill. Race 4, number 1, All Inclusive. And race 5, number 1, Vieri. So race 1, number 2, race 4, number 1, race 5, number 1. Canberra Racing home to the Group 3 Black Opal Stakes and listed Tab Canberra Cup, which is every March. In the nation's capital on Cup Day, Vermicella, race 4, number 9 is one of Robbie's best, and race 6, number 12, Silver Touch. So race 4, number 9, race 6, number 12. And Mark Roden has done given us his tips for Roundwick today. And that's all thanks to Robot Building Supplies, helping you get the right products for the job at a better price. He likes race 1, number 4, Natoya, and race 7, number 16, Tavros. So race 1, number 4 at Roundwick, and race 7, number 16. And his best rough is race 3, number 8, the Grade Houdini. And Luke Ovanessian at Roundwick likes race 1, number 4, Natoya, race 5, number 12, Lord of Biscay, race 9, number 7, Rock Empire, and race 10, number 7, Sunrise. You can head to thetrots.com.au for expert harness racing tips and in-depth analysis for all major Victorian meetings. We're at Shepparton on Cup Day, race 3, number 8, Wallace, and race 5, number 4, Little Strepo. So that's race 3, number 8, race 5, number 4. And Harness Racing New South Wales, the home of the Carnival of Cups, where Australian music royalty meets quality harness racing action. Amanda Rando likes race 2, number 8, She's a Warrawee at Wagga, and race 4, number 8, Seaside Delight. So that's race 2, number 8, and race 4, number 8. And the views are better and the air is cleaner. Tassie, the perfect place to race. Jason Campbell at the Launceston Greyhounds likes race 2, number 1, She's Special. Race 5, number 2, Our Miss Maggie. And race 6, number 2, Acadian Ruby. So that's race 2, number 1, race 5, number 2. Race 6, number 2. 7 minutes past 10. Mitchy Lewis now joins me live at Flemington for his preview here of Cup Day. Hello to you, Mitch.
Hello, G. How are you this morning?
Good, thank you. We're just waiting on what's going to happen with this weather. The sun was out. I could see blue skies, but it's looking pretty dark overhead now here at Flemington.
Kind of got to blow over, doesn't it? I'd say right now, okay, but quickly changing over there on the horizon. So we'll see. Soft 6, G, fair?
At the moment, yes. If the rain comes throughout the meeting, I reckon we will get a downgrade. But it's not great drying conditions as well, and it is cold today. So, I reckon we'll stay at that soft 6 range, basically.
That track is in the cup, isn't it?
Yeah.
Though? Yeah. Even if it gets a little bit cut up by cup time as well. So that's what I think. And there's a couple in there that you can almost scratch straight away. Unfortunately, one like Goody Two Shoes, I've thrown her in just in case, G, but because she's a winning machine. But if she can't go on the wet, I don't know how well she's going to go on this today.
Do you like our boost top 10 finish here? Flatten the curve and Valley King boosted to 325.
Yep.
Finish in the top 10. So that'll be up there all day.
I was just going through my head, but because I'm sort of taking on Valiant King a little bit, and looks like the market is as well. He's a top 10 chance, certainly.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at the markets now. He's drifting out closer to 10. So
Yeah.
I thought that's getting better to a price. When he was 7s on 650s right up there, I thought, in his last couple of races, he started 61s and 26s. Running well, but got the right run at Caulfield as well. So I just thought, maybe he needs to leak out a little bit, and it looks like it's happening.
All right, then let's have a look at the first race, Carnival, and this is at 10:45, so not far away now, just over half an hour's time at 4:20. Tornado Valley is at 650, and then you've got Brazen DeChambeau at $7 here.
What I've done with this, G, and I think we figured this out last year, was which of the Hayes 2-year-old who's going to handle the straight, you'd think, on the boo. So they've put Mark Zahra on. I just think it's going to be Carnival. We saw, what did they have, 3 or 4 2-year-old winners in the Carnival last year. I identified that. Market's come for it. So, I think the favourite in the first.
Do you like MacDane like everyone else in the second? It's at $2.90 with Bet365. Party Crasher $5. And then you got Brave Miss at $6.50.
I think his job's easier with Navy King out now. He sort of gets a softer race map. Short enough. Saw Michael Hickman at Call of the Card yesterday. Bullish Party Crasher. So keep an eye on him. Same thing there. Mark Zahra booked. He's going to get a good run, you would assume. His last start in SA wasn't outstanding, though. So just maybe if he drifts out a little bit more, I'll have a look at him.
What about race 3? This is over the 1,800 metres. And it's an interesting race for the 3-year-olds. Arabian Prince at $4.20. Different Gravy $4.80. Champagne Hero at $5. Matunga at $8 here for these 3-year-olds over the 1,800 metres.
I'm just laughing at myself here because shows how much I look at the actual jockeys or just the horse. So Mark Zahra again, I think. So I'm hoping he's going to win the first 3. Different Gravy. Really good start last time at Morphettville. Nearly should have won the winner of that race, Freedom Flame. That was a listed race, 3-year-old. Got all the right runs. He had to do all the work wide, hit the line strongly. I think at Flemington he'd be much better suited.
Yeah, I'm with Different Gravy as well. I reckon I'll run a mighty race. Then we go to the 3-year-olds over the 1,000. Pallets on $3. Street Artist at $4. Aleppo Pine $6.50. Bold Secret at $9. Quiet Point at $11. And then Van Gogh Bank Check is a $12 chance. Jamie Mallam and Lloyd Kennewell combining.
I thought this one was a bit tougher. So Peloton, I thought probably the class. How does he go down the straight first time? Street Artist going well enough, has been down the straight, so maybe I just lent slightly there. I think, what was Peloton yesterday, 280 or something. I think a little bit more now. I think it's the class. It's just going to handle the straight.
Our man Shane Bennett from Oz Equipment Rentals and the Ultima Hotel has got a share in Van Gogh Bank Check, so we wish him the best of luck there. Race 5 is the Heritage Cup over the 2,800 metres here. Favourite here, Golden Century at $4.60. Let's Steal at $5. Don Diego de Vega at $5.50. And then your horse, the South Aussie.
Aruga Mama.
Aruga Mama at $7. Raging Bull at $13.
Aruga Mama always promised a lot, but I just think in the last little prep hasn't been going as well as it should have been. 2,800 though is a big tick, so you keep an eye on that. But Don Diego de Vega, I thought his last start Bendigo Cut run was massive. We know that's a good form race for a race like this, so soft run barrier 1 if the inside's playing okay.
I don't mind race number 6, St. George. Mark Hunter sort of just gave my confidence a little bit of a dent because I didn't mind this horse today, but he was concerned over the ground today on this soft track. It's had one start and failed. It's into $3.50, however. Kingswood $4. Athanatos at $4.40, Real Class $7.50, Unspoken $9, Molly Bloom at $10 here.
Yeah, so that's probably, I'm on a similar ilk, different horse, Athanatos. I like that last start form line, obviously behind Transatlantic and Evaporate. Group 1 form line coming through here, barrier 13. Probably needs a little bit of luck, and how wet is he going to want it? He's not got a great record on the wet, but I'm willing to take the risk.
Yeah. Any minor placings there?
Yeah, I agree with there on St. George, and I thought, sometimes I don't think it will when it's wet, G, but if he's going to get his own way out in front, Kingsford could prove pretty hard to catch on a sticky track, you'd think.
Let's take a quick break. On the other side of it, we'll preview the Lexus Melbourne Cup here on Giddy Up. We're live from Flemington on this Tuesday morning. What a day it promises to be. The rain is staying away as we speak, and the crowd is starting to roll in to Flemington ahead of Cup Day. And, of course, the first race isn't far away at 10:45, but we'll come back and we'll preview the Cup with Mitch Lewis next.
Country meets Caulfield for the CF4 Stakes. Group 1 racing and family fun. November 15. Tickets at Ticketek. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up, live on RSN 11:16 and SEN Track on this Tuesday morning. Mitchy Lewis with me as we go through this Cup meeting, and time to preview the big one, the Lexus Melbourne Cup, and clearly the best backed has been for Al Riffa. He hit as low as $5.50 with Bet365. He's back out to 6, half yours $7.50. Broussage Nocturne at $9, Valiant King at 10, Buckaroo at 11. Absurd at 16, River of Stars at 16, Maydan at 20-1, Flatten the Curve at $21, Vauban 23, Goody Two Shoes 31, Royal Supremacy at 31, One Smooth Operator 34, and then we go to Further at 34, Torrezino at 34, Arapaho at 34, Middle Earth at $41, Chevalier Rose at 50-1, More Fallons at 50-1, Parchment Party at 50-1, Smoke and Roman 60-1, Land Legend at 71, Changing of the Guard 71, and Athabasca is at $71 here. As Sack Tunbridge has pointed out, they're backing a couple of horses here. He said that Al Riffa and Absurd both had plenty of support overnight. Buckaroo was friendless, and on the drift, Valiant King is steady, and River of Stars is popular. Mitchy, who do you like?
I've gone and I'm settled on Presage Nocturne. We know taking the internationals can be a risk sometimes, but in my opinion, the Caulfield Cup run was good. Got the wider run, finishing the line strong, I thought. If you go and have a look at the last start Group 1 over there in France, he gets beat up all the way down the straight and he's still strong late. So that was on a sticky track. He's going to get that same setup. I think he'll be strong late.
Yeah.
The international jockeys, what I actually liked about Presage, I don't think they're stupid. He's drawn next to half yours. I think he's going to track half yours the whole way in the race, get to the top of the straight, peel out and say, let's see if I can outstay you. That's how I mapped it. So, yeah, lent his way. Look, I've had little savers on like Buckaroo. I thought River of Stars in the wet was a good value play. I didn't think Arapaho was the worst either.
Okay. Arapaho probably needs it wet.
Wetter.
Real wet, yeah. What about Al Riffa? You surprised with all the money for him? 59 on his back?
Yes and no, I suppose, because, I guess lots of it came from that big bet yesterday, wasn't it? And that was from the connections, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, he's a class horse. I've thrown him in just in case and had a saver on him because he might just... Joseph O'Brien yesterday said we wouldn't be racing if we didn't think he could do it. So he doesn't beat around, does he?
The connections there. Jamie Lovett from Australian Bloodstock who owned this horse. They had $200,000 on him at $8. There was one team of punters that had $500,000 on $8. $8.
Yeah.
So, half yours, $7.50. Valiant King, $10.
Yeah, so like I was saying before with Valiant King, he's a winning chance. I didn't like him anywhere near 650. How often do we say the winner you're in races, the form never really franks? And that's how he got here as a $61 chance. Then he got the inside run at the Caulfield Cup and was finishing okay.
He was unlucky, Mitchy. He was the run of the race.
He got the right run, but there were horses working as well out wide who didn't get the same run. So, and this is another one. We know we always go to the same well, but Absurd in that Caulfield Cup, he was getting beat up at the top of the straight.
Yeah.
But Valiant King got to go along the rail all the way. But like I said, closer to 10 now, I think is a bit better than a 650 or something he was earlier.
River of Stars is out to $16. She's going to be around the mark, I reckon.
She's
a great top 10 chance.
As a Arapaho, maybe they wanted... You'd think wetter. If it was wetter, she might have had a bit more support.
Are you surprised with any of these moves? Like Flatten the Curve, everyone's just like, they don't know what to do with him. You either got to believe your eye, the times don't probably weigh up, but he's got this X factor about him, Flatten the Curve here.
Yeah, and that's probably the thing. I thought if it was a heavy, he'd be real advantage. He's probably the best heavy track horse, do you think? Yeah, so... Certainly a chance, but that's what I would say is that if it got really heavy, hopeful for you, G, and then the Mudlark can go around and do the job for you.
The Manda Elliott's a beauty after the Cup. Ludlam at 550's had good support. Navy Pilot $6, Bakash at 6, Ripley at 6, Burma Star at 8. I want to be back in Grand Prairie. They're 13 into 9, but that was a big price, and Peter Snowden gave it a wonderful push this morning.
The only thing
Oh,
I ever
last time I had a chat to him, I should say.
the wide barriers from the 1,400 metres, I'm not huge on. I thought Navy Pilot's just going to get run of the race.
Yeah.
Winner 2 starts, good in the group level race last time. I thought J-Mac on, he'd be well supported, you'd think, but
Okay.
I thought he'd get the right run.
Yeah. And the track might be really cut up by the time we get to the Amanda Elliott.
Yeah.
Good go-to with that runner from the Graham Big Camp, Ludlam. And as Graham pointed out to the Noonan brothers on Sunday morning on Correct Weight, this potential-wise anyway could be the best horse in his stable. And I reckon people have heard that interview, and he's 850 into 950 or 850 into 550 now. So it's a good go. Race 9, Surf and Bird. Many say this is the best of the day, Surf and Bird. Adrian Bott gave Surf and Bird a good push there yesterday. Fantify at 7, Gumdrops at 750, Bossy Nick, the wetter the better at 11, and Pondaloe, $12. But will it ever win a race or just keep on knocking on the door?
Yeah, look, Surf and Bird for me, short enough now. It's going to get run of the race. I think it's clearly the one to beat. Fancify drawn out wide. I don't like its chances. Ruffy G, if we're really chopped up on the track, the 7 Electric Impulse, won in the carnival. I think it was Oaks Day last year. Loves it wet. First up here, drawn to the inside. So if we get super wet, just have a look at him, I think.
All right, then. So what's your numbers here again?
We were Surf and Bird so that's the 15 from the 1, and then I threw in the 7 and 10.
And then the last race, Sunshine in My Pocket probably doesn't want it too wet. It's a 380 favourite. Nadola, I reckon, is in the same boat. 480, Persian Spirit 460, Gala Queen at 11, Hill Rip at 11. Windstorm first up at $17 interests me.
Yeah, like Gala Queen's another one as well. Like, finally draws the right barrier and everything. Doesn't get the right conditions though. I've just lent the way of Sunshine in My Pocket, third up, untested on the soft and the heavy. Again, Kota Healy, Michael Hickmont's horse, was really good 2 starts back. I was slightly disappointed with it last time, but it'll handle a wet track. So again, if we get really wet by the last race, I thought Kota Healy's not the worst.
Beautiful. So what's your best bet? Best bets?
Best bets. So race, we'll go in reverse. Race 10, number 7, Sunshine in My Pocket.
Yep.
I actually think race 8, number 2, Navy Pilot, I was willing to throw in there.
Yep.
And then that was basically what race 3, number 4, another one, Different Gravy.
What about a quaddie today, which kicks off, of course, in race number 7, which is the Melbourne Cup?
Yep, I went 1 from 2, and I threw in the wet 3, 4, 6, 9, 10, 14, and 21.
So you've gone El Riffa, Buckaroo, Arapaho you put in, Vauban you put in Presage Nocturne, Absurd. You put in Flatten the Curve. Good on you, Mitchie.
This is the thing, G. It's the
Half
unknowns,
yours,
isn't it?
and 21 River of Stars, second leg.
I've got to throw in Arapaho and Flatten the Curve in case it pours. I've got to trim it up there somewhere. So we've gone the 2 Navy Pilot, the 3 Grand Prairie, and the 4 Bakash.
Yep. So no favourite?
Nah.
Okay. Third leg?
We're going to just go 1 out, Surf and Bird.
All right, then. Which is 15, the final leg?
3, 5, just in case.
Yeah.
7, Sunshine in My Pockets. 10, Gala Queen, in case it can handle the track. And no strings attached, the 15.
All right, 3, 5, 7, 10, and 9. Your numbers there. Is that right?
And the 15.
And the 15 in that final leg. Anything in South Australia today, thanks to Betsy's?
Yep, I've got a couple there as I just pull them up. There's a shorty early in the meeting. Race 2, number 4, Harmonic Dancer for the Stokes team. I think it'll be hard to beat. In race 3, G, there's a horse here, the 15, Viselli. Just have a look at it. It's had a long time off the scene, but I think its trials have been very, very good. And then race 7, number 1, Air Assault to win the John Letts Cup. They're listed, so... Third up, he's a track and trip specialist. He looks set up for this race.
In WA, the males come through there on their big day. They'll be packed out there at Ascot. And the Burgess Queen, which is their traditional 3-year-old fillies race over the 1400. I reckon Talk and Co can bounce back here at $4.20, they say. And then earlier on in the program, race 3, number 2, Love a Session for Durant and Pike as well. And BJ Boy, race 5, horse 2, each way all day. Race 5, number 2, BJ Boy. That wraps up Giddy Up on this Tuesday morning here on Melbourne Cup Day. We've been live at Flemington. It's been great to have your company. A busy show as always, but straight after the 10:30 news, we'll be catching up with, Cam Luke will take over here on SEN Track. David Taggart, Campbell Brown, Josh Jenkins here as well. And then on RSN, John Henry will lead the coverage. Gerard Waitley will be there along with Miles Fitzner and also, of course, Mickey Gannon. We'll take you through the coverage there on RSN. So we have it all covered here this morning and this afternoon on Cup Day on both SEN and RSN. Campbell Brown if he doesn't win the best dress today, I'll give up. It's one hell of a kid. One hell of a kid. He is the man that's just taking fashion to new heights, especially on Cup Day. But Gareth Hall here signing off. Have a wonderful day. I'll be back tomorrow morning with all of the wrap-up from Melbourne Cup Day from 8 o'clock. Have a great day. But stay tuned to SEN Track and RSN straight after the 10:30 news.